What do you mean by keeping your son handcuffed?
I went to help my son's family move one day. To my surprise, I found my 4-year-old grandson handcuffed in an empty house. My grandson was crouched down, surrounded by empty bread bags and a foul smell. Seeing this, I called my son furiously. However, he seemed confused.
Huh? We've already moved out of there. What?
The identity of the handcuffed child turned out to be quite alarming. I had been widowed a few years ago and now, at 62, lived alone, working twice a week as a hobby class instructor. I enjoyed my job, known affectionately by my students, and it was a source of fulfillment outside of work. My main joy in life, besides my job, was my 4-year-old grandson, Nick. One day, after finishing work, I checked my phone and found a message from my son, Bob, showing the cute birthday party of my grandson.
Nick is already 4 years old. Happy birthday! Can I bring him a present next time?
Bob replied, come over anytime. At 34, Bob had worked hard to secure a respectable job and was living in the next city with his family. I wasn't very close to his wife, Jennifer, and saw her maybe twice a year. Without a specific reason, I found it hard to visit. A week later, I bought a character toy for Nick's birthday and some local sweets that Bob liked, and visited their house after a long time. As I opened the door, Nick ran towards me, his face lit up with joy. Grandma. I was delighted and hugged him.
It was your birthday, wasn't it? Happy birthday!
Then Jennifer came and took Nick away from me. Nick, let go.
Hello, Emily, thank you for coming today.
She smiled, but her words felt cold.
Jennifer, I'm glad to visit.
It's been a while, Bob. Pretending not to notice her attitude, I went to the living room and handed Jennifer the sweets and Nick the wrapped toy. Nick's eyes sparkled as he unwrapped it. And he immediately started playing with it.
Mom, Nick is really happy.
Thank you.
That's fine. I don't see him often, so it's the least I can do.
After that, we were having a light-hearted conversation, watching my grandson play happily, when my son's phone rang. He said, it's a work call, I need to step out for a moment, and left the room.
Bob is still busy, isn't he? Jennifer, you're doing a great job with Nick.
I tried to talk to Jennifer, but she looked stern and was glaring at me.
Emily, please don't give Nick character toys.
She said this coldly, without expression.
Why? Last time I saw him happy with this character on TV. You don't understand. We're focusing on educational toys so he can follow in Bob's footsteps. This kind of toy is a bad influence.
Jennifer frowned unhappily, and I felt dejected. I'm sorry, I didn't know. But she continued to criticize.
And these sweets too. They might be fine for Bob, but I'm careful about Nick's diet. They have additives.
Okay, I'll remember that. I'm sorry. Bob returned. And Jennifer's mood instantly changed to a cheerful demeanor. Even as we continued talking among the three of us, I couldn't help feeling a bit uncomfortable. So I decided to leave early. As I was leaving, Nick waved, saying, Grandma, come again. Jennifer gave me a strained smile. Bob and Jennifer met at a speed dating event and married quickly. I was worried about their rushed relationship, but they seemed happy. Jennifer mostly raised Nick alone, and I was grateful for that. Still, her occasional sharp comments weren't new. She must care about Nick. Perhaps Jennifer, being estranged from her own family, was opening up to me in her way. I chose to see it positively. It happened some time later. I bumped into Jennifer and Nick while out shopping in town on my day off.
Oh, Jennifer, what a coincidence.
Is Bob at work today?
Yes, he's away on a business trip.
Jennifer's face seemed slightly strained as she answered.
Where are you two headed? Well, we're going to the department store downtown.
I was headed to the same place and offered, if you're buying something for Nick, let me chip in. Can I come along? Suddenly, Jennifer's expression changed, and she snapped at me.
Hey, Emily! Stop it. It's presumptuous of you to just tag along. I was just. Don't be so overbearing. Don't make decisions for us.
While I was taken aback by her reaction, Nick cheerfully told me, "Grandma, we're going to Ryan's house." "Is Ryan your friend?" He nodded in confirmation. "So, you're visiting a friend of yours, Jennifer?" "Yes, that's right." I thought she could have just said so, but I understood that a mother-in-law might be in the way during a friend's meetup.
"Take care, then." "Fine, as long as you understand."
And Jennifer quickly left with Nick. Watching them leave, I felt something unnatural about Jennifer's behavior. A few months later, Bob suddenly called.
"I'm moving at the end of next month because of work. Does that mean you'll be further away?" "A bit, but still within reach."
Disappointed that our meetings might become even less frequent, I offered. "Let me at least help with the move." Thinking I could at least help clean up, I asked Bob about the moving schedule. On the day of the move, I went to their house eager to help. But no one answered the doorbell, and there was no moving truck. "It's a moving day today, right?" Feeling something off, I used the spare key Bob had given me before to enter the house. Inside, it was empty. "What's going on? Where are they?" Confused, I went inside and was stunned by what I saw in the living room. A small child was handcuffed and crouched, facing away from me.
"What? Why?"
The child turned around, and I recognized the dirty face.
"Nick!"
Approaching my startled grandson, he moved away in fear. I thought it best not to frighten him and called Bob, trembling.
"What do you mean by leaving Nick handcuffed?"
"What are you talking about?"
"I'm at your house right now. Don't play dumb."
Bob sounded confused as he replied.
"Wait. We've moved out of there." "What?"
He explained that the move had been brought forward due to work, and he had messaged me about it weeks ago. Indeed, I then remembered receiving a message from my son a few weeks earlier saying, "The move has been brought forward." I must have missed it.
"And Nick's right here with me."
I heard a cheerful "Daddy" from Nick in the background. When Nick knew it was me on the phone, he cheerfully called out, "Grandma, come visit our new house and play."
"See, Nick's here." "But there's another Nick here?"
I was utterly bewildered.
"Mom, what are you talking about? Are you tired or something?"
Bob's voice softened, as if he thought I had lost my mind.
"Should we go to the hospital together next time?" "That's fine, see you later."
I abruptly ended the call with my son to gather my thoughts and took a deep breath. But, indeed, there was a boy handcuffed right in front of me. If Nick is somewhere else, then who is this child in front of me? I looked closely at the child's face again. On closer inspection, he resembled Nick but seemed slightly older than my 4-year-old grandson.
"What's your name? How old are you?"
The boy with vacant eyes remained silent, simply spreading his palm out. Perhaps indicating he was 5 years old. One of his hands was handcuffed, and the other end was attached to the kitchen sink pipe. He couldn't go anywhere. Nearby, there were empty bread bags and a container resembling a dog's water bowl, creating a bizarre scene.
"This is terrible."
The child seemed to be wearing a diaper, and there was a foul smell around. I took photos and videos of the scene, then immediately started to unlock the handcuffs.
"Hold on, I'll get these off you."
The child, initially frightened, seemed to realize I meant no harm and quietly watched me. He was obedient and watched what I was doing. The handcuffs appeared to be fake, difficult for a child but manageable for an adult to unlock.
"You're safe now. Why are you here?"
As I freed the child from the handcuffs, I offered him the food and drink I had, continuing to speak to him. However, he remained silent no matter how much I asked. Just as I was considering calling the police, he finally spoke.
"Mommy told me to stay here."
He said that he had been living with his father until a week ago when his father suddenly disappeared. Then his mother appeared, brought him here in the middle of the night, handcuffed him, and left. She returned only once, leaving some water and food.
"It's cold here, I'm hungry, and I was scared of being alone.
I couldn't help but hug the tearful, pitiful child.
How could a mother do this to her child? Doesn't she have a heart? Who in the world does this?
As I trembled with rage, the child finally revealed his name. So that's how it is. With shaking hands, I took out my phone again and made a call. After explaining the situation, the person on the other line was speechless but promised to come right away. Later, I took the child to the hospital. The next day around noon, I was hiding in a certain place. Soon, I heard the front door unlock and footsteps approaching.
I brought food.
A woman holding a supermarket plastic bag entered the living room of the house where I was waiting in a closet. I was quietly observing the situation from inside the closet, holding my breath. But the living room was empty except for the handcuffs. Seeing this, Jennifer's face turned pale.
Hey, Ryan! Where are you? Answer me!
Yes, the boy's name was Ryan. The same friend my grandson had mentioned visiting before. And his mother was Jennifer, my daughter-in-law. Ryan had told me everything. That's why I was waiting in my son's old house, expecting Jennifer to bring food today. Jennifer seemed to be frantically searching the house, opening doors loudly. Ryan isn't here anymore.
Emily, what are you doing here?
Jennifer, startled to see me revealing myself in the living room, looked as if she was about to collapse.
I found the boy.
He's been taken to a proper place for protection. Realizing her actions were discovered, Jennifer clicked her tongue and appeared to be deep in thought.
Why did you do this? Tell me the truth.
Speaking gently to avoid upsetting her further, she suddenly started crying.
Actually, before I met Bob, I was in a relationship with a man named Matt and had Ryan out of wedlock.
Jennifer spoke, looking down, seemingly in pain.
But Matt was abusive, and we split up. That must have been hard.
What happened next?
In the end, Ryan was taken in by Matt. I didn't want to let him go, but I had no income, and Matt forcefully took him away.
She struggled to speak, evidently pained by the memory, but continued.
Even after marrying Bob, I would often visit Matt's apartment because I was worried about Ryan.
The day she said Nick was playing with his friend, she was actually heading to Matt's apartment. She arranged for Nick and his friend to meet regularly, giving them a chance to play together as brothers.
It's sad for both being only children, so I thought it was better this way.
Yet, a week ago, after Matt contacted Jennifer, he disappeared. His apartment was vacated, leaving Ryan with nowhere to live. She brought Ryan to this house, which still had a contract until the end of the month.
I swear, I've had no relationship with Matt since marrying Bob. But Ryan is still a precious child to me.
As I listened without responding, she looked up at me with tears in her eyes.
But I couldn't jeopardize my family with Bob. You're a mother, you must understand.
Jennifer collapsed on the floor, crying. She appeared to be a very caring and devoted mother at that moment.
You said Ryan is a precious child to you, right?
Yes, of course. I coldly responded as I looked at her.
Then why would you handcuff him, make him wear a diaper, and refer to his food as feed? That's...
Her facade of a tragic heroine froze.
I thought you were dedicated to education, but is this how you treat a child? There's nothing I can say.
Jennifer's eyes darted around, sweat forming on her forehead.
And what about this?
I took out my phone, played a video, and showed it to her. It showed Nick and his friend playing in front of Matt's place. And Jennifer's voice could be heard from inside.
You were taking Nick to Matt's, driving boys out, and having an affair, weren't you? Well, this is...
I had found Ryan's apartment the night before and talked to the neighbors. One of them, concerned, had recorded the video.
Can you still say you care for the children? You were having an affair with Matt, right?
Jennifer's face turned red with anger.
Bob knows we're a happy family, right? Please don't destroy it. Don't tell him.
As she desperately pleaded, I brushed her off.
Why should I keep quiet? Because Bob is.
She stopped as the balcony door opened, and there stood Bob.
Because I'm a lawyer? Bob!
Jennifer looked utterly shocked. Yes, my son Bob's profession is a lawyer. Jennifer, who had been calmly speaking, suddenly showed her true colors and glared at me.
Why is Bob here? Did you snitch?
Bob stopped Jennifer as she attempted to lunge at me, her face red with anger.
I heard everything. You've been betraying me all this time, haven't you? It's not what it looks like. Listen to me.
She clung to Bob.
Matt is a good-for-nothing. I was deceived by him.
In her panic, Jennifer blurted out something outrageous.
The only thing good about him was our physical compatibility. And you, with your high-income lawyer job, you're the husband I deserve.
Bob looked at her with utter disgust.
Betrayal is one thing, but handcuffing a child is inhumane. I can't forgive you. No, I refuse this.
She started screaming and acting out like a child, to Bob's dismay.
Jennifer, we're getting a divorce. I'm taking care of Nick. And the police are on their way, so calm down. It's all your fault. If you hadn't found him.
In desperation, Jennifer pulled out a knife from her bag and charged at me. Then, brandishing it, she ran towards me.
Mom, watch out!
In that instant, I dodged Jennifer. She lunged at me, cursing, but I swiftly dodged her.
Don't run, you old hag!
When she attacked again, I knocked the knife from her hand.
Forgot I'm a master of combat sports and run a self-defense class?
I pinned her to the floor as she groaned. And police sirens approached.
Let me go! I'm appalled you show no remorse. Pay for your crimes.
Ignoring her screams, I kept her pinned down. The police arrived, and she was taken away, screaming. Bob and I watched silently. Later, I submitted the evidence to the police. Jennifer had brought other tools to harm Ryan. I was wondering what he was going to do after the handcuffs, but I was horrified when I learned from the police that she had even thought about that. She was arrested, and Matt was interrogated. The divorce was finalized. He's suing Jennifer to ensure child support. Jennifer, having lost everything, will struggle to live a normal life outside. Ryan was taken in by Matt's parents, who seemed decent, so I'm relieved. As for me, I moved in with Bob to help raise Nick. He was initially wary of the change but soon warmed up to me, and I'm teaching him combat sport. I plan to continue staying strong and energetic to watch over my grandson's growth in the coming years.